Well, everyone I feel it, even the farmer man.
Does feel it.
Yes, they feel it too. All right, Massive, we did promise you something nice today. Well, on behalf of the entire crew of Fresh 105.9
FM.
Yes, we want to welcome Mr. Raymond Washington, all the way from US. Mr. Raymond, welcome.
There's more multiple over there. I mean, you know, and I have a lot of opinions based upon the facts, man, because I mean, everybody, his heart is not failed in a way of proceeding, man. I mean, you know, we have to come together, man. We have to keep on educating our youth, man. And it starts from within, and we have to stay, you know, up to par, and we have to stay mindful, and we have to stay spiritual, you know?
Yes, yes.
And I think it's such an injustice, like I said priorly, man, because you have innocent kids, man, and they see radical behaviors, man, coming from their own folks a lot of times, man. Just like right here in the U.S., man, with the police brutality, man, you know, against a lot of guys, man, and a lot of our black people, man, and we all the same color, and that's brother and sister. You know?
We're one, same color.
And we one. And no matter what color, we all want to be that way.
Yeah, Raymond, you're testing to the fact that it's the same everywhere, like in the U.S. Of course, you also said that it's pretty much here. So what do you think is the right approach towards stopping this or checking it?
I think one way to get people together is having more base community programs. You know, and we catch them at early stages in their lives. So where they're family negative and they're, you know, they're unfortunate where they they don't hold like a lot of money or no inheritance, and they see these privileged white kids, man. And people, we all want the same thing. We all want to enrich our lives, man, in such a way.
Yes.
So I think we have to start there in partnership programs, man, mentoring programs, because it seems to be working in the West Bank side of New Orleans, which is the down south in Louisiana. You know, that seems to be a successful program, you know, and I'm conjoined with these programs. So I think it starts from, you know, just doing things like that, taking some of our time, you know, and sacrificing a lot of our time, man, because it takes a village to raise these kids these days, you know, with these youths. And we have to guide them the right way. I mean, because everybody don't have their best interests at heart when it comes to us. I mean, you know, because they're going to look out for each other.
Yeah.
You know, first and foremost. You know, so we have to teach and educate them early.
All right,
you know?
All right, Mr. Raymond. Let's move to Jamaica, where we have Claude Sinclair waiting. Mr. Claude Sinclair, what have you heard about the recent happening in Africa?
It's not just what I have heard; it's what I've also seen. It is heart-rending. It touches the very innermost core of my heart to know that this year is 2020, and we have this kind of wickedness going on, especially being contributed from one black person to another. And it makes me wonder, where is the mindset of our leaders? When I can see the police opening fire at unarmed protesters, people dropping, men, women, and children, people being murdered, people being raped, people being robbed, and the same group of people that was organized in 1992 to stop these atrocities. This special anti-robbery squad was set up in 1992 to do just that. What they're doing to the people is what the squad was set up to do. And to find them doing just that, it reminds me of Guyana, when they formed the Phantom Squad to take out the drug dealers and the serial rapists that they had going on. After they depleted the drug dealers in Guyana, they started to kill innocent citizens of Guyana.
So this problem is everywhere.
It touches the core of my heart. But guess what? I'm extremely happy to see that our young generation, I'm 63 years old, but our young generation are up there on the battlefield, in front of the struggle, fighting against a system that we don't even know where the system comes from. If this is really happening in this year and time. They said they was going to abolish the system from 2017, 2018, 2019, and the same system exists today.
Still existing.
Still dates. Okay, in the case of America, I want to quickly get to what Mr. Raymond said, during the hashtag Black Lives Matters in America, it was a fight between, almost like a fight between the white police and the blacks. The whites didn't get as much harassment as, the blacks were getting. But in our own situation, and which might also be almost the same in Jamaica, where it is a black man to a black man, and such level of brutality, how do we manage it? How do we come about fighting the system that we do not know where it came from? Because at the end of the day, those with the guns, these oppressors, are not happy themselves.
Yo, Claude.
Right.
Carlson, yeah, that's for you.
I'll tell you, Jamaica's areas. We Africans that are trapped on this island, we can go far back as 1865 when you had Paul Bogle, who rose up against the colonial masters and destroyed them. We have many of the Maroons from Ghana who fight the British long and hard, and they have to bow down to their knees to Nanny and give her land and give her whatever she asks for. We're talking about Sam Sharp, who practically gave up his life. Marcus Garvey came and he said, we must have a United States of Africa. If we do not, Africans coming together, all 54 states of Africa united as one, with one military, one government.
Wow.
And that is the only way we can solve this problem. We here in Jamaica, I can tell you this much, we will not tolerate, and we fight alongside our brothers in South Africa, along with Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer. We helped to destroy the system of apartheid under that regime at that time. So we stand in solidarity with you guys up there in Nigeria, and we're willing to fight. An airplane will be coming shortly from Nigeria to Jamaica, making an historical flight. If anything and you need help, I'll be on the next flight coming into Nigeria.
Whoa, that's amazing.
That's a support for the youth out there. Yes. Okay.
Most definitely.
Yes, Mr. Raymond, how can we check this?
I think, first of all, how we can check it, especially pertaining to, and I know a lot going on in Nigeria and Jamaica, and y'all fight more for y'all rights up there, man, but we so systemized in this country, man. It's like a controlled environment. And we can control this, we can contain this by having more organizational programs, man. Particularly blacks, because white won't join in. A lot of whites in America here won't join in because of the arrogance and cockiness. You have something that's good. Don't get me wrong now. We have to develop more programs, man, that's based on these things. Teach them about our black histories, man, and keep pounding into them, man, about how important it is to be black, man, how precious we are as Jews, man, to be black. That's just like a diamond coming out of Sierra Leone or something like that, man. We have to authorize that nature, man. And I mean, from the bottom up, we keep these kids, man, and we tell these kids examples that we're explaining to them, man. And once we were separated back in the days, man, it's like it's hard for us to get back together, man. They took us off the boats, man, brought us in, enslaved us and things of that nature, man, So we have to get back, and we have to educate them, man. We won't be going back that way, man. And we have a president here, man. He's just, man, he's controlling things. He's just got it. It's almost a race war here. It's about just this tough thing, man. We're oppressed over here in a lot of ways, man. Emotionally, spiritually, and a lot physically, man, with all the brutality and all that's going on, man. So we have to get back to our origins, from the motherland and coercion. And that's my bit on it,
All right. Well,
to be honest with you, I stand in solidarity with whatever my brother Raymond Washington just said. We have to start teaching the greatest.
The blacks.
This is a fought long and hard, and we have won many battles. Malcolm X fought long and hard in the United States of America. Martin Luther King fought long and hard. We have Farrakhan, we have other leaders, Nat Turner, that all sacrificed their lives for the struggle. And if we do not teach these leaders what they stood for, what they fought for, what they died for to our children, then we are lost. But we are proud to say that we saw on the battlefield, on the front line, youngsters fighting against the struggle. And we're not talking about just some youngsters throwing a battle here or lighting a torch here. We're talking about college youngsters with degrees, youngsters with masters and PhDs. We are happy to see that the youngsters understand.
Now you spoke of you spoke of mentorship. How do we need to mentor the government for them to know what to do? Or
okay, I think he actually talked about, Mr. Raymond talked about mentorship for the youth.
For the youth.
But I want to take it from you know where you stopped. The problem here, it's not that of the youth, quote and unquote, not saying, you know, there are not some that are quite criminal minded.
Yes.
But the problem here is governance and even the police themselves, because in the first place, the welfare is not taken care of, unlike you know, the US, where you know that they have everything going to them and obviously they're answerable to the government. Here, they are suffering themselves. And on the other hand, they are, you know, unleashing havoc by attacking
anger,
you know, of not being taken care of. So has is like a two-edged sword.
Yes.
And it's kind of difficult to tackle. So if you're recommending partnership and mentorship, are you saying there can be collaboration with the police, whereby, you know, they're educated on what they're supposed to do if they're not getting the right education with the government?
All right, I could speak from that. People tested before we give them the power.
Power they tested.
Because when you're a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force or any police department, you have this power to detain, this power to do whatever you see necessary within the rights of justice, within the framework of the law. This is how you do it. We must educate those ones that we put in, whether by lie detectors, by a serious behind-the-scene investigation, whatever it takes. We must weed out the bad weed that we have in these police departments.
The question is how?
How do you suggest
we do that?
All right. I personally think that it starts from the kind of schooling. Some of these police officers should have been taken from cadets who, you know what I mean, certain, youth groups that are prone to work in one accord, if you understand where I'm coming from. Not just from the regular populace. If you take a young man at 15, put him in the cadet, train him mentally and physically, then his mindset has been under a certain regime, a certain thing, if you understand where I'm coming from. But if you just take someone from the outside populace and make him a police officer without the mindset, because the mind is really have to attack these people at. Okay. What is your mindset going into the police department? What are your reasons? What are your purpose? What do you want to do for your country? In 1961, John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So these are some of the young men that, these are some of the things that we need to find out. What do you want for your country before we give them a...
And we get official signings from our high officials in government.
What other ways?
City leaders. And we start from there, so we have the legal right to do so, so it won't be any punishment by weapons, you know, by bigotry or anything else that will attack. I think if we start that way, I mean, so far as here in America, I believe we can start that way. We can control our own environment, and we take out and we wean out all the other folks that's taking over stores that doesn't give anything back to the communities, like the Arab guys. You know, they work billions over here right now, and we sold a lot of our land. We was pretty much bullied, so we don't have a lot of black-owned stuff anymore. We got to get back to our origins and owning our own, and teaching our own, and bringing our kids and putting our kids back in college, paying our tuitions, and not asking the government for too much, and just circulating the money in our own communities.
That's a community involvement.
Yeah.
Yep. And get back to those stores, and if we can get back to that, we have more confidence, we have more self-esteem, and we have more loyalty towards each other, and don't let no one be without a job, and apprehend those kind of things. You know, I think that's some of the answers to our shortcomings that we've been facing, and the hurdling blocks. I mean, you know, just the roadblocks they put in our ways. Because this is all the tests. This is all the tests, and at the end, we should prevail.
Nice.
Okay.
That's my take on that.
Claude talked about catching them young like people in the cadets, people from the man o' war, those that being able to volunteer, you know, to serve the country without being paid, you know, taking such people into the force so that it becomes a natural flow for them. But fortunately, we're in a country where there's high level of unemployment, and you know, the child of a common man doesn't get a job. Everything has to be about connection. So those that are going to be responsible for that employment the employers do not employ you if you do not know someone that knows someone that knows someone before you get there, which has made our situation complex. So are you looking at it in another way that can help us, you know, have a better situation, have a better police system or policing system?
Right. And that's where we start marching and we start protesting. We start making demands, you know. And I mean peaceful now.
Peaceful. Okay.
Yeah, peaceful demands because we get a better result in return doing these kind of marches.
What other ways do you feel we can engage the government without protest right now? Is there other way? Are there other ways you can suggest?
Yeah. I think we start from like down here, City Hall. We start from City Hall. And then we go, like we a town called it's a city called Baton Rouge, where it's the capital of Louisiana. We go to Baton Rouge, we get pardon sign, this and that, so we are allowed, and then we take it state to state. You know, like Farrakhan brought the Million Man March on. That was such a successful, at a ratio, it was so high of a magnitude, it was successful, and we can still do that, and we can do that. You know. We all can do that.
Mr. Sinclair, what do you think? What do you think we can do different from protests?
Well, remember there were 5 demands that were set by the protesters.
Yes, the 505.
How is it going in that way? Because we want immediate release of all arrested, immediately. We want compensation for all who died through police brutality. I support that. Also demand an independent body to be set up, so that we can prosecute those people.
Right.
All right.
We have to work. And then, as my brother Washington said, we must go out there, picket, march in front of City Hall, because when you come out in force, you see, government are afraid of forces. When you see the force of the people coming, young and old and middle-aged, coming together, and what brought tears to my eyes. People were actually getting together food and supplying food on these protesters. And no protesters would not take what they didn't want. They would say, I'm full, pass it on to the next brother. And that camaraderie, that togetherness, you know, it tells me that we're on the right path. And soon, and very soon, we will win.
Thank you so much. All right.
Before we wrap up, I want to get both of you on this because, I mean, from everything we've discussed, the final decision of engaging the government would either be protests or town hall meetings. Is that what you suggested? And I think you both actually emphasized more on protest, a peaceful one, obviously.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Because guess what? You see, when you have people coming out in numbers, see, these politicians are afraid of numbers. Because they know death is mightier than the sword. Come election time, they need these people to vote. Without these people voting for them, they cannot be elected in office. So we're saying in Jamaica, use that pen, protest, send a petition, whatever it takes to get people together. Let them know that, hey, it is not just 200,000 or 300,000. Look at the hashtag, and SARS, 25 million people was tweeting that. Understand? So to get united, we stand, we can beat this system and beat it down real bad.
Thank you.
And in addition to that,
Raymond,
now there's the old saying, and this is a real saying, it says, a mighty dog destroy your shoes, but he will never break your heart. And if we partnership like that, and if we are all on the same accord, and I'm say it again, a mighty dog might destroy your shoes, but he will never break your heart.
Okay. Thank you.
You got to look at that way and think about that.
Nice. So from all we've discussed today, we've seen that we need to partner with the government. The youth needs mentorship, and everyone, both the youth and the government, needs education.
Right, both
especially,
of them. That's right.
especially the government agents, that's the police now.
The police.
They need education. And for those who will be brought into the police force, have to be at a young age where they can learn something about building a nation.
And those that
That's
already dedicated to the country, that wants to give something to the country,
but not get something
not
out.
just those that want to get something out of the country.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Raymond and Mr. Sinclair. I want to thank you both for being on the show today. But before you go,
I just want to say this real quick to my.
Yes, go on.
Stand up. Our mother says, stand up for your rights.
Stand up for your rights.
We shall win.
That's right.
We know we shall win, and we stand in solidarity with our African brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right, brother Sinclair.
Thank you so
And
much.
I just have one more thing to say, man. I have one more thing to say on this topic,
Please
man. That's
go on.
simulation. And you got to think about this. And it says every night, and I say this every night before I go to sleep. It says every night before going to sleep, we must ask ourselves, what weakness did I overcome today? What virtue did I acquire? You know?
Exactly.
All right.
Nice. Thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. Yes, Mr. Raymond. Mr. Raymond Washington is an international motivational speaker from the U.S. And Mr. Claude Sinclair is an inspirational speaker as well and a record producer. I want to thank you both for being on the show this afternoon.
Aluta continua, aluta continua, aluta continua.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Undebatably.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Black
man.
Lives Matter, power to the people, man. Black Lives Matter, power to the people, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for having me.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Same.
Yes, BYZ. It's been a.
Yeah,
It's been a yes. I
great
must say it's
one.
been a successful.
Yes, it has
round
been.
table.
And Claude actually mentioned something which is about unity, and the moment he said that African countries need to come together as one. I think it's a big one. It's a good one, but achieving that might actually be very difficult. Just last week. No, this week there was a meeting among Yoruba leaders, among Yoruba elders, and it almost ended in a serious fight. It was difficult for them to agree with one another just because they needed to produce a Yoruba leader. So look at the number of local governments, the dialects, the communities we have put together
It's as if we all want to be the.
Do you know? And
we
everybody
we want to lead at the same time.
Do you understand? So having that unity, that strong accord, seems really far away, but it's workable. It begins with you, loving your neighbor as yourself, seeing the next person as
there's something I always preach. You have to learn to love yourself first,
which is paramount.
If you don't love yourself,
if you don't have it,
you
you
will not
can't
be able
give
to
it.
love another person.
Thank you. I think that's a way to actually start. That's the first thing.
Love yourself.
Love yourself
Then
first.
Show that same love.
If you do love yourself, you're going to love others.
Yes.
It will be easier for you to love others because you can accommodate them. You can't live alone. In loving yourself, it means you need to extend it to other people.
Yes.
But yes, I just pray that we get to a point where we can actually speak in one voice.
Yes,
indeed.
before I let you go, Claude Sinclair spoke of catching them young, number one. He also spoke of
Raymond.
Two of them now spoke of protesting and a town hall meeting. What other ways do you think we can actually engage these government?
Well, I think I want to go with the fact that, especially our own kind of government, because we've been coming on radio, you bring analysts, you bring people that are all over the world, knowledgeable, that knows what it takes to have a better government. And they talk, they speak, sometimes they write open letters to our leaders and they don't listen to it. It was a good one that they paid attention to an extent to the protesters, because I would say it worked a bit to an extent. I mean, to the point where state government started employing youths it happened in Oyo State, I think in Edo State, in Lagos State, I think also in Taraba State, and it's not like they are not aware that there's unemployment in the country, but it took that much noise for them to decide on, doing that. So, but like they said, it has to be a peaceful one. It has to be purposeful as well, because it got to a point whereby the End SARS protest lost its purpose. And we didn't have leaders, people that could say, okay, no, we're stopping here, we're taking it over tomorrow. Oh, now that certain demand has been met, let's just hold on and give the government certain time to work it out, and we're coming back. It just went on like that, and all sort of people that really do not understand what they're fighting for joining.
I saw a video where someone was asked, "What are you fighting for?" He said, "NSAS." What does it mean? The hashtag NSAS. What does it mean?
SARS mean?
It had nothing.
Do you understand? Which is why the issue of mentorship and education should come to bear, like our guest has suggested. Because I mean, if you have the right kind of education and you know that this mission is towards a purpose, then those kind of youths will not be the ones that go into vandalism. Of course, we know that in our own case, there were some infiltrations whereby some hoodlums were hired to join the youth to cause mayhem and all of that. But, a protest that is centered around knowledge and purpose would most likely achieve its aim.
Thank you so much, BYZ, for joining me on the show this afternoon.
Thank you.
Yes, from today I can decide to call on you at any time,
It's all right.
Make we jump to some nice vibe.
But I need to learn how to. You can't be doing.
Don't worry.
Rasta
Don't worry. I'll give you.
And me, I cannot. No.
I've made
so when am I going to join the class?
I promised you a mix of Bob Marley.
I can't wait.
I'm going to give you the phrase book.
So I'll begin to. So when I come in, I can.
You'll be able to speak
some level of patois.
Yes, I tell you.
I tell ya. Rastaya.
Yes, massive. It's been Reggae Jams on Fresh 105.9, and today was a different one. It was a round table. Yes, you had the opportunity to hear something from Raymond, Washington, all the way from US. We also heard Claude Sinclair of Big Stones Record, all the way from Jamaica. Many thanks to Royal Root Studios, all the way from the US as well. Thank you for the connection. Right now, we are going. Yes, massive. By next week, positive. I don't know. I'm still working on it. It's possible next week I bring you the daughter of King Yellowman. I know you know Yellowman. Yes, you know Yellowman, right?
I know Yellowman too.
You know Yellowman,
yes.
Right? It's possible I bring his daughter next week on the show. But I'll let you know. We're going to leave you in the hands of Taros Riley and Dwayne Stevenson. It says, "Let love live." BYZ. We're out of here.
We're out of here. Thank you for your time.
Yes.